When I was a kid in the 1970s, a man tried to abduct me. He was about 35 or 40, and I was 7 years old, on the tail end of a stretch when multiple police departments surrounding Detroit were hunting for a kid killer. 2 boys and 2 girls had been murdered, each of them white, each with brown hair like mine. There were posters everywhere, with a composite sketch of a suspect, a sketch of a car, a compact blue gremlin with a white hockey stripe up its side, and an area of operations favoring drugstores and rundown strip malls. They never found the guy. He'd seemingly taken kids at will, held them in his lair for many days, and then snuffed them at leisure. He was rumored to have washed their bodies with dry cleaning fluid, and then set them back into the world, like setting out a birthday cake full of lit candles, carefully, and with a look of accomplishment on his face. There was a serial abductor out there, swiping kids from their footing, like sweeping a few bugs into the kill jar in his garden. And there was nothing anybody could do but keep their doors locked and ride out the storm. The guy who tried to snatch me had been posing as a security guard in a drugstore. He wore a rust-colored blazer, a crisp shirt, and a dark-colored tie. He strolled along the end caps and occasionally looked around non-committally. He locked eyes with me in the candy aisle while I was stuffing a pack of bubble gum into my pants pocket. I put the gum back and rushed out of the store. He followed. I crossed a parking lot. The man got into his car. I crossed a major intersection on foot, then tacked into my neighborhood and strolled alongside a curb where our little blue collar house saluted an empty street. A minute later, the man pulled up in his compact. It idled next to me a few feet away. The passenger side door opened, and the man leaned across the center console and reached out. I remember the details of his tiny automobile, the rattle it made, and then the creak of its door opening on a faulty hinge. I remember the man's eyes being a greasy brown, like motor oil. I remember the man's brown hair across the top, and I remember the sideburns he wore, each crawling to the sides of his jaw. Author J. Reuben Appelman may have escaped capture on that day. However, his life was irrevocably changed. The events of that day continues to haunt him into adulthood, which would fuel his desire to find closure in what would come to be known as the Oakland County child killings.